Hello, it's Burgess Taylor. We're going to talk about my reading goals for 2016. And just so you know, this is hot cocoa, y'all. I made myself 2 cappuccinos this morning. They were rather big ones, so I'm on my limit to the coffee thing, but it's chilly. And so I made myself some homemade hot cocoa with marshmallows. And then after this, I'll be drinking some water and maybe a smoothie. Or I might just break down and make myself some more coffee. We're going to talk about books. First, I'm going to talk about my reading goals. I want to read more of the books I already own. I have writing books that I haven't finished reading. This is one of them. This is called Writing Down the Bones by Natalie Goldberg. I won this in a giveaway by Sarah Crawford last year. And I started reading it and got really into it, and then I got Bird by Bird because of her suggestion. And I got all into Bird by Bird and ended up finishing Bird by Bird, but I did not finish Writing Down the Bones. So I'm going to finish this book this year. Now, I have this gorgeous book, The Wonder Book. And I read the book, but I didn't read all of the excerpts. There are excerpts in here. Let's see if I can find one. Like this. Or this. Like, there are different things in here, and I didn't read all of those, and I didn't do the exercises or the work, I guess the workbook part. So I'm going to start reading this book from beginning to end, and I'm going to read all of it, and I'm also going to do the exercises. That's my goal for this year. I love this book. Maybe it's because I'm a writer and an art journaler. The illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. It is a beautiful book and worth the money that you spend on it, even if you're not a fantasy writer at all. Another thing I'm expanding my horizon with is poetry books. I got this book with part of the money I got for Christmas from a thrift store. It was like $3. And even though it's used, it looks pretty much brand new. The spine hasn't even been broken on it. So I'm going to try to read a poem every day this year. I have other poetry books like Bukowski and Billy Collins and Maya Angelou. I almost called her last name first. So I'm going to start with this book and then move to another book after I finish reading the poetry in this book. Now, on to what I'm currently reading and what I'm doing from there. Now, I'm reading Deeply Odd. I just finished Odd Apocalypse, and this is the next to the last book in the Odd Thomas series by Dean Koontz. Yes, that is my NaNoWriMo bookmark. And I am about halfway through this book. I have the last book in the series, St. Odd, and I'm going to finish it. Finish the series. There's one book out there related to the Odd Thomas series. I think it's called Odd Interlude. So I will get that one, and then that will finish the Odd Thomas series up. Another series that I have, and I've only read part of, is this series, and I'm going to butcher his name, but Thomas Nagowski. I have this series. This is the first book. These are the other books, the original books. And then I have what is called number 3, number 4, and number 5. So I'm going to finish the series. My daughter read it. She finished it up in December, the series, and she really enjoyed it. She said she liked it. Another series, I've had this book for 2 or 3 years now, and I started it. I didn't finish it. I got interested in other books like the Dresden Files series, which I just finished the last one in December, and I need to finish this book. And I also have the first 2 books in the Infernal Devices series. I need to get the 3rd book. I want to finish that series up too. I really enjoyed this series. My son bought me this book as a present, and I got into it, but Dresden took over. What can I say? Another book series, Mr. Mercedes. I also have Finders Keepers, which is book 1 and book 2 in the Bill Hodges trilogy. He's just come out with, or is about to come out with, the 3rd book in this trilogy. And I haven't read this one yet. I've had it for quite a while, and I've had Finders Keepers, but I realized when I saw the thing for the 3rd book that I needed to get on the ball and start reading. I also own Revival, which I need to read. I've had this book for a long time. I got the series on Kindle back when True Blood was, like, I think it was probably the second or the third season that True Blood was out. I watched a lot of the True Blood. Haven't watched the last 2 seasons, which I need to, but I want to read the book series before I finish the TV series out. And this is like book 7 in the series. So with my Christmas money, I bought the box set. It's the first 10 books. So I have the last 2 to buy. But I got this with my Christmas money. So I'm going to read this series for the year. I'm going to, I guess, hopefully halfway through, I'll find the last 2 books on Thrift Books and order them. I'm going to provide a link in the doobly-doo down below. If you haven't tried out Thrift Books, or if you have and you did it pretty, you're not sure about it, and you want to get 20% off, you have, I think the coupon's good for like 14 days, but you can find books there for like next to nothing. That's where I got a lot of my books, because I can't afford to get them when they first come out. Like, there's a lot of books on my wish list, like Truth Witch and Passengers and a lot of other books, but I can't afford to buy every single book I want. So I'm trying to finish out the series that I do have and the books that I already own before I go delving into the newer books. Now, the very last thing I'm going to talk about is my art journaling books. I have several art journaling books. Danny Gregory, I have 2 of his books. I have Everyday Matters, and I have the Creative License. Since I'm back to art journaling, I'm going to go back and read some of these books or look at them. I also have the Creative Page. I also have the No Excuses Art Journaling by Gina Rossi Armfield. I have Mixed Media Girls with Susie Blue, and I never got the disc for this. I messaged Barnes & Noble, but I never did get the disc. I was very disappointed that I didn't get the disc. And the last one I have is Beautiful Faces. Jane Davenport is an awesome artist, and I love what she does with faces, and I'm going to go back to doing some of the exercises in all of these books. So that's what I got for the art journaling. Like I said, I'm expanding my horizons in 2016. I'm going to be writing books. I have several that are on the shelf that I need to finish reading as well, but my first goal to start with is Writing Down the Bones and the Wonder Book. I also have the 4th book in the Stieg Larsson, The Millennium. It's by somebody else wrote it, because Mr. Larsson unfortunately passed away. Thought that was really sad, but somebody else has written it, so I'm not sure how that one's going to be, but I am going to be reading it this year. And I bought it used from Thrift Books, and it's somewhere too, but I didn't want to spend the time trying to find the books. I need to get another bookcase and another shelf on the wall horizontally to put some of these books on, because I now have more books than I have bookshelves. And yeah, that is a horrible problem. I'm not getting rid of books. I'm actually getting more bookshelves. Does that tell you anything? I think I have a shelf in the living room that has DVDs on it, and I am seriously thinking about taking the DVDs off of it and putting it in here and putting the paperbacks in that. Seriously, because I'd rather have books in the shelf than DVDs. I am a read everything kind of person. I don't have a specific genre that I prefer. I read a lot of suspense. I read some horror. John Saul is probably about as bad as it gets for horror for me. That I don't read anything more than that. I like all kinds of books. I am a big fan of Cheryl and Kenyon. I like the Mary Gentry series by Laurel K. Hamilton. I am also a decent fan of her Nettie Blake series. I have to be in the mood to read it. I'm a big Anne Rice fan. I'm evidently a huge Stephen King fan. I love Dean Koontz. I like John Sanford. Like I said, I like Patricia Cornwell. I like Gregory Maguire. I like Lauren Kate. That's actually young adult. She does young adult to mid-grade, young adult to new adult. I suppose. The Beautiful Creatures series I loved. The Divergent series I really enjoyed. I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter. I like a lot of different things. I don't like one specific genre, but I am a big fantasy and suspense, paranormal kind of reader. I like anything and everything that has to do with the paranormal, and I love suspense. I love a good suspense book. And I like, part of the reason why I like Stephen King is because he takes you out of your comfort zone. And although it isn't considered to be a suspense, sometimes I just never know what's going to happen in his books. And I absolutely love his books. So that gives you an idea. I do also read James Patterson, and I love Nora Roberts. I like pretty much anything that Nora Roberts, under J.D. Robb, anything that she puts out. One of my favorites. A lot of different, like I said, I don't have a specific kind of genre. So if you have any suggestions for books, please leave them down below. And I'm not necessarily going to do like major reviews, but I will talk about the books. If you are an art journaler, anything and everything by Danny Gregory is pretty much wonderful. With Jane Davenport. You guys have a good one. Thanks for watching.